And this episode is going to be super interesting because we'll be talking about a topic that is very, very dear to most people's hearts. My heart also. That how do you develop entrepreneurial resilience? You know, basically, you build a business, you create whatever enterprise that you create, and sometimes you go through some what do you call it, glitches. Sometimes too is a big ditch that you go through. You know, how do you handle such instances or such situations? So today, I have managed to bring my good friend back on the show. And Kobna, as I said, he's a good friend, an old schoolmate. We went to the same university together. We did our first degree in the same university. He did agricultural engineering, and then went on to pursue a master's program in bioprocess engineering from UCD. And he's married with beautiful kids. And not only is he an entrepreneur, he's, as I said, an engineer. And he's written 3 books so far, 3 books and counting. I have recently read 2 of his books. The 3rd one I'm going to conquer in the next week or so. So the first book I read was his book on perspective. And I believe is an amazing book. If you want to venture into entrepreneurship, you have to read that book. It's awesome. Then the second one is Streamline. So Streamline is talking about basically how to think about and actually action on investment. So, or how to generate cash flow assets as you begin to build your businesses, or even if you are working for somebody, you still need to develop cash-bearing assets along the way, and that's phenomenal. Then the 3rd one is resilience. So these are crucial books that you have to read along the way. Then not only that, he has a beautiful, fantastic, amazing YouTube channel that I want you to subscribe. It's the tag is Obin Dako. So go to YouTube, search for him, Obin Dako, and then subscribe to his channel. You will not regret it. So, Barbara, welcome back.
Fast and go.
You deserve it, sir. You deserve it. You deserve it. So you're welcome, sir. And yes. So the first episode that we had with you was a blast. You shared with us some amazing eye-openers. And for me, it got me thinking, and that I took it a step forward to also read your material, to also get to know more, because for me, I'm still learning, and I'm one of those people who is constantly learning. I've never stopped learning for almost 20 years now. So anything, anybody, I will learn from. I don't discriminate when it comes to learning at all. So no. I believe you have some amazing content there that people need to know about. So one of the things that one of the constant themes that I got when I was speaking with you, both privately and then in your books, is the theme comes about from the standpoint of the African and the African history and the role it plays in giving anybody, myself, all of us, especially those of us who come from an African descent, what that role or the history of knowing about the African, your Africanness, plays a role in actually giving you confidence in what you do, giving you the wherewithal, the belief in yourself, in what you do. And you actually reference, I think in your book, you say you reference that, or you emphasize the point that everybody needed to at least spend some time to study maybe the past 1,000 to 6,000 years of our African heritage and that kind of thing. Look, I have never done that. So I want you to use this opportunity to share what are some of the nuggets, that my African history can tell me about. Yes, I'll go and research it. But if you give me at a high level, what are some of the key things that you've learned over the past couple of years about your African heritage? And that gives you the confidence, or that gives you the input to make the statement that you made, both in your books and in private discussions. Let's start from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Isaac. It's an honor.
Okay.
Pleasure to share with you.
Yes.
And enjoy that.
Awesome.
Creating content that will transform lives.
Exactly.
There's one thing having money, and it's another thing changing lives. They are not the same. Some people are only focused on having money. Some people are also creating lives, as it were. You know, giving information that will help people. Because most people, you know, or we all live life from the way we think, the information that we process.
Right.
You know, so if my thinking ability is not that solid, based on the content I have, based on the information I have, then small things will break me.
It's true.
You know, but if I'm equipped, then I can fight.
Yes.
You know, and when we went through school, I will go back from the 4-year school in Kwame Nkrumah University, or earlier from the secondary school. Yes. We as Africans, technically, we have been given a kind of education that's mainly Western.
Yes.
If somebody came and tried to lie and tried to tell everybody that they conquered you, and that person left an education system. Let's face it. If you want a people to be subservient and you want to rule them forever, what do you think will be the kind of education such a person will give you?
You give them, something peripheral.
That's right. So that you will forever be subservient to them.
Right.
And for me, technically, strategically, those things were taken from our school and not from education. That's why you will be told of Einstein. You know, you'll be told of all these big philosophers. But when it came to African, they would say that they didn't have anything. You know, they will not mention any engineer for the last 200 years. They will not mention anything. And that for me breaks something in you.
Yeah, right.
You don't really, because without you understanding who you are, having freedom in your identity, it becomes very difficult for you to have a stand on anything. And watch what I'm saying. Most of us, our identity, we try to take it from religion.
Yes.
Most of us, that's what we take. We say, I'm of Christ, you know, and my identity is in Christ. It's perfect. But let's face it, on this earth, all people have their identity. That's why the Europeans try to link everything to the Greeks. They tell you everything is about them, and they were but before the Greeks, they were the Africans.
That is very interesting point because you see, one of the things that you just talked about is I believe that one of the most ancient achievements or the earliest achievements in the world when it comes to even your area, that's engineering. Yes. Engineering in terms of building, and I know you're into real estate, building and all those kind of things. One of the greatest achievements in the world was the pyramids of Egypt.
That's right.
So as you're talking about, I'm asking myself, who designed those pyramids, which are still in existence today? You're talking of possibly maybe at least 1,000 years. They're still in existence today. The tourists are going every day to Egypt just to watch their pyramids, and even how they embalm dead people to keep them. Or this. So where did that kind of science come from? Was it coming from where West or what?
You know the funniest thing. The funniest thing is that these pyramids were built by the Africans. At least, the first ones. First ones over the last, let's say, 2,500 years before Christ.
Right.
Which is like 4,500 years now. These were built, and you know, Africans were there. Then some other people came through, fight and took over. But for the early, what they call the dynasties, dynasties. As you know, there are people who have done this research.
Right.
Most of those for thousands of years were Africans. Then after that, you know, so we Africans, we are very alienated from these things. We are told that we know those. Some of them will even go to the extent of saying that they were aliens. You know, don't forget that the concept of race is just a recent creation. Where you separate people by color of their skin. People were living in tribes as we know it. But this recent one, racism, which is coming from the concept of race, was created by Europeans. To say that these Africans are subhuman beings. It was an ideology that they had to create in order to, you know, dominate and subjugate. And they are learned people, the educated people, they know this. These are facts. And so for anybody, and for the last 500 years, they have built a lot of errors in commerce, in trade, in management, in science, in religion on these lies. You know, and these have gone into almost everything. So Africans, we have been taught. If you talk to any young African, this sense of history is not there. So you will hear people say that there's something wrong with the black man. You constantly hear that there's something wrong with the African. I've heard big teachers say that I believe the African is cursed. If you have ever heard such statements before.
Yes, I have. It's terrible. I count myself out of those things, but it's terrible.
But we have to fight them with historical facts.
Right.
But those are not true. They use the Bible the same way. They interpreted the Bible to say that the blacks, their father was the devil, and the devil was black. You know, the whites, their father was God, and God has to be white. Those are all the relations of Europeans.
Yeah,
God far from the truth.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that before they came, before 14th century, these things, all humans lived. And so if I conquer you, it never meant that I was higher in terms of humanity than you. No, it's just that I had better fighting tools to beat you. And next time you can fight me.
Yes.
You know, but the Europeans went ahead to say that the Africans, because they captured some people, they said that they are nothing. They are animals. They are beasts. And these things have lived with us now.
Wow.
Such that people would want to say that you have to be fair to be intelligent. It's not only in the African mindset, all over the world.
Yes, it's all over the world, because one thing, as you said, that, you know, I know even in places like India and certain parts of Asia, and probably Pakistan, they operate this kind of caste system.
That's right.
That is also, you know, predicated on skin color and those kind of things, which is very, very antiquated. So sometimes I wonder, where did all these things come from? You know, I know Brazil too, they have similar problems there. Like that, you know. But one of the things that I as you're talking about, just came to my mind is like even in the old times, even in biblical times when King Solomon and those people were there was one kingdom that went to visit King Solomon. They are apparently a very, very, very rich kingdom. You know, that's the kingdom of Ethiopia. When the Queen of Sheba went to visit, you know, and she brought a lot of gifts. So that tells me that there was a lot of wealth coming from the continent of Africa, even in those years. So why all these kind of lies, and why are we even accepted to be suckered into by those kind of lies?
Because they push on us. The Catholic Church, all these institutions that run the world, they push on us. Yes. Wow. And this, some people say, oh, it's not important. It's still running. Let's face it. It's still running. And I became a bit conscious, a bit, I got out of my slumber and my sleep when I started to hear this. Because a lot of our people are sleeping. Okay, they've never been taught this. And not only Africans, even white, even Indians.
Yes.
A lot of people have been taught lies about race. And they have, you know, strategically positioned the African at the bottom. Look at England, for instance. You go there, you see, look at the percentage of Africans who do all the menial jobs.
A lot.
Okay. Go to America. Not far.
Yes.
So for you to lift the African, to build the strength to fight, and even to be in their own country. Let's face it, whenever they talk of football, they say that some people know how to coach football team, and they must be white. And anytime they put an African there, you know, they say that they don't score. Then I say that then give the presidency to them as well, because which one is better? You know, so it is is become surprisingly part of us. And I say that you take time to learn it. Sometimes I don't like teaching history because I know there are authorities. So I just bring I just create the awareness that this information is missing in your makeup.
Yes.
Go and for it. I can tell you books to go and find them. Then you'll find, because one thing about us as Africans is that when our own people are trying to teach something that will liberate us, we would rather want to hear it from us.
Yes, we'll fight.
The white man is telling you
conditioning, right? It's all part of the conditioning.
Exactly. But if I'm playing football, I'm joking, I'm creating comedy, nobody will question because that's the African. But if I'm talking about something, finance, identity, innovation, creativity, then they start to look, I mean, it shouldn't come from you. And let's face it, a lot of Indians or whites won't, first of all, if they see an African trying to teach something which has to do with the mind, they say, well, what is he talking of? But if I was singing,
it will be bought into.
That's right. So they'll have to take time to even listen and say, oh, maybe you're saying something sensible.
Yeah.
You know, but ordinarily, they will not say that. So there has been a lot of content on history. We have done a lot of great things. Much of it, even the history that they have taught for the last 500 years, much of it is lie. For instance, they said, oh, the Africans sold their own people. You have heard that a lot.
I have, yes.
Yes. If we sold our own people, where is the money? Because the other people who bought them have developed. So if we did the selling, where is the money? If you sold millions of people, as they are trying to tell us,
yes,
the whole of Europe,
it would have reflected in the balance sheet, right?
I tell you. So somebody is trying to tell us lies, and we just buy, we just buy them. You know. So the whole of Europe, Portugal, Germany, the British, the Dutch, all of them were here.
Yes.
Trying to fight. So it was an invasion. It was not trade.
It was not trade, yes.
It was not trade. They came with guns, they came with chains, they came with the ship that they could go to a whole village and invade them and capture them. But they will burn all the evidence to tell you that the Africans sold their own history. Of course, some few people may try to do that. But the trade itself, the backbone of the trade itself, no. So for instance, Ghana. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. Maybe as a continuation of your line of thought, you just add this to it. So as you talking or concluding your thought on that, bake into your answer what the average person, especially young people who may be open to change, what can they do to get out of that hole, that kind of mental bondage? What are some of the things that they can do? For me and you, we are fortunate, you know. Yes. For me, to a very large extent, I am out of that kind of bondage. You too are out of that kind of bondage. What are some of the things that you can tell our audience for them to get out of that?
Okay, I will say that we should read.
Okay.
We should read.
Okay.
We should get books that a lot of Pan-African. See, it is hard to meet a sincere, committed, patriotic African who is not Pan-African.
Yes.
It's almost impossible. The heart for the African, for his people to do well and have dignity because of the content that they know. When you are saying that lift the consciousness of the African, we are not saying that hate other human beings, no?
No.
We're just saying that the people, you see, the others don't even know the effects of the self-doubt on the average African. We don't know. What would make a whole generation go through the desert to try to get to Europe? Some people say it's economic. No, it's not. Because some of them are carrying $10,000.
Yes, and $10,000 could make a huge difference. Here.
How many British have $10,000? How many?
I lived in UK for quite a while. Look, even for the indigenous populations, many people wouldn't have that kind of money.
How many Americans have seen $10,000?
I lived in America for quite a while too.
So that boy has and we are saying that he's going there because he's poor. No.
It's a conditioning.
That's right.
It's a conditioning that his place is bad, is worse, it can never be better, and somebody else behind the fence is green.
Yes, it's the mind is captured. Just as they put the chain on their hand, now the chain is on their mind. And the chain is coming from the education, from the religion, from the media, from the superiority, as in quote.
Yes, even in movies.
In movies. So almost everything that we are being fed with is trying to put us down and is trying to lift other people up. So if you don't have strong information on your heritage, on your roots, on your history, it will be very difficult. You can make very successful Africans. Very successful.
And I think, I think this discussion also helps because you see, sometimes, especially for the young people, they need to see other people ahead of them.
Yes.
Or other people they could relate to.
Yes.
Demonstrate that they have this kind of new mindset or renewed mindset.
Yes.
That becomes a spark so that they begin to get curious.
That's right.
To say, wow, I've seen Ms. Kwabena Bindako talk about this thing, his passion, his love for his continent, that is really contagious. Let me research more. Let me read more. It will start with people say, let me read more about you. Let me read more about this person. And that begins to open a whole.
Yes. And that's true. And I have some books I can recommend.
Good.
Because a lot of us are just saying, I'm more interested in people just saying, let me read about it and find out.
Yes. Give some of the books if you can't give, or if you can't give them even
now. I mentioned a few, and then I will send some of the links to you.
Yeah, and I will put the links.
Civilization or Barbarism by Sheikh Anta Diop.
Say it again.
Civilization or Barbarism.
Okay.
By Sheikh Anta Diop. Anta Diop was from, I think, Senegal. Okay. He was an African. This is a web research document.
I see.
That people must know. The other one is Arekana, Dr. Arekana Chumo.
Oh, the African, the lady who represents, she's a medical doctor in.
That's right. Yeah, the history of Africa.
I've seen. Okay.
The history of Africa. You will love it.
Wow.
Robin Walker, his book, which is When We Ruled.
Okay.
Robin Walker is in England.
Okay.
Do you have White Fragility? This one was written by, I think, a white woman.
Okay.
Robin Diageo.
Okay.
A lot of other books.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll put it in the description of this video, so that we save on time. But we'll put all of them in the description. So, let's segue into business. Yeah. You are an entrepreneur through and through. You've, I think in introducing you, so for anybody who's not watched the first interview we did, the intro, we talked about some of the things that you do entrepreneurial. So you have you and your wife have a beauty retail outlets all over in the country. You also have a real estate interest. You do construction and other things that you do. So you're really, really well grounded in business when it comes to the Ghana context and to even a large context, the African context. So my primary focus today is going to deal with resilience. So in your view, let's take this slow. In your view, what has been some of the challenges that you have faced, or by extension, some of the common theme of challenges that exist when somebody wants to start a business, or in your case, when you started a business, what were some of the bottlenecks, the obstacles that you ran through or you had to face that really threatened the survival of your business? If you can share some of them.
Okay, thank you.
I like that.
Yes, it's fashion retailer. We are fashion retailers.
Okay.
Bags, slippers. We make some of them actually. Now, I think the main bottleneck is your mindset.
Okay.
It's the way you look at life. It's everything.
So the mindset was a bottleneck, when you started, right?
You have to transition.
Okay.
If until the mindset is right for entrepreneurship, it will be very difficult.
Okay. Expand on that.
Okay, because most of us would start. See, it's one thing. As you are now, well educated, lived in a lot of places, you have traveled, you have money, you are not hungry.
No.
Very few of us are in your category. A lot of the young people that you are talking to are not in this category.
Right.
I completed school. My mother maybe probably has no better job. Maybe I'm the first graduate from the family.
Right.
Majority of the people who really need the message are this group.
Right. Right.
It's not. I've lived in England. I've come back. I have a house. I have a car. I have a wife. Listen, when you are talking, the boys say you don't know what you're talking about. Let's also go there and come back.
We'll touch them at some point. Those people have their own issues, but we'll touch them later.
So my understanding will be when the person has no money, no skill set, no connection, your major threat will be your mindset.
Okay.
That
makes a lot of sense.
Correct that. Because the other day I saw where they are saying that the national employment something is trying to do job fair for the youth. You saw the number.
Oh, yes.
The number.
You find this very interesting. My teenage daughter yesterday went to this hair. I think her mom took her to the hair salon, and she came back and said, "Daddy, you won't believe this." I said, "What is it?" She says, "I was at the hair salon and I saw on the TV that there was this massive job fair, and there were literally thousands and thousands of people in the queue, and I was surprised. And they were interviewing some of them, the things they were saying. He said that's what you've been doing on your YouTube channel and things that I think a lot of those people need to be listening to." It's like, wow.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And that's my teenage daughter just making that observation.
Yes, and that observation is so accurate. Okay, so I think that as an African, our major problem is the right knowledge. And that's why I would say that our major hindrance will be the mindset. Because why would I think that because I've gone to university, when I come out and I don't have a job, I should sit at home? And if somebody places some advert somewhere, I should go there, and we have thousands of us. And yet there are so many opportunities here.
To be humiliated.
The problem is the way they think.
Wow. And
for them to even have the humility to listen to you to say that you are challenging my core belief. A lot of them, I can bet you, if you put them there and we are giving seminar, maybe 3% will listen to us.
It's true.
The rest will tell you don't know what you're talking about.
They want it so quick.
Yes, because the critical thinking, we need it. Using data. The facts are there. How many jobs are we creating? And how many graduates are we producing?
It doesn't
so these problems, this so-called job thing is coming out of industrialization. And you and I know how many industries we don't have. So we are going to have this. So our way out will be to train them to say that I've come out of school. The reason I went to school is not to come and look for a job.
Right.
It's to apply my life to do something meaningful, to serve my country.
Yes.
If you can get them to think like that, you have done a great job.
That is awesome.
There you can give them the things that they need.
That's
because this thing is not like it is going to go away in the next 50 years.
Wow.
We need them to go to university, no doubt. But you're not going to university to complete and come and look for a job.
I think what we radically need to do, and you mentioned it the last time we had this discussion, I think we as a nation, actually as a continent, because for instance, some of the people I hear from in my blog, my podcast, YouTube, and those kinds of, some of them don't know even Ghana. They don't know nothing about Ghana. So you're talking about Nigerians, Kenyans, Tanzanians, those kind of things. And even one of the interesting groups are Africans who are domiciled in affluent countries. So Australia, US, UK. The same mindset issue hits them.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's the same thing that hits them. So for me, I think one of the things that we need to look at our education system very, very seriously, so that our education system is not modeled after the American or the British curriculum, because their needs are very different from ours.
Exactly.
We live in a situation whereby there's chronic unemployment, chronic lack of industrialization. So everything that we need to do must think about leapfrogging current systems so like what we've done with mobile money and mobile, nowhere in the world do they have mobile money. Look at how efficient it's done. So we need to look at very radical solutions that will leapfrog us ahead of time in our education system. If we're able to do that in a very radical and fast-paced fashion, then we have some kind of hope in the next year.
You're right. Just as you mentioned the mobile money.
Yes.
Look at how many provision shops that we have.
Yes.
Look at how many wache joints that we have. Now, you go to some of these other countries, they don't have this number of provision shops.
They don't.
They have the big,
supermarkets.
That's the concept that works there. So it's a typical difference between us and them. And the people will go and buy with credit card.
Yes, we don't do that.
We don't have the credit card. We don't have the supermarket. And we don't even, for me, sometimes people say that, you have to develop, I think that development must take different routes and different paths.
Yes. Yes.
Just like culture. just like you are different from me.
Yes.
You don't have to be successful the way I have to be successful.
No.
But when we try to restrict it, that is what is creating it. And much of it is also the global institutions and how they handle us. Because they're saying that you have to develop, and this is the part you have to use. Singapore use this. China use this. America use this. They forget that it's not entirely true. So the World Bank and all those people are trying to define a specific path for us. And we know that the so-called World Bank was formed in 1948. Where was Ghana? The UN. Where was Ghana? Were we part of that world? So they were not designed for us.
Yes.
Designed for their interests. But leave the Africans to also find their part. So much of the complexities that we see, it will take a lot of strength for us to understand the whole structure. Some people say that it's corruption. No, 90% is not corruption. Our problems, 90% is the global infrastructure that runs. You want your raw material. The contract laws don't fit here. As a matter of fact, some of the businesses that we do, when you read some of the contracts, it's designed not for here, not here.
It's true.
So if you sign, you are tight.
And that's you just made a point, very, very interesting point about we are just we'll say, I think there's a scripture that says heroes of wood and drawers of water. So we are just being used to create raw materials. But you and I know that value is at the highest, at the far end of the value chain. Than at the tail end. So if I'm producing, let's pick anything, let's pick maybe a luxury good, right? That probably may show it's very. You're into fashion, so maybe let's pick one of these global brands. Yes. Okay. So let's say bag, right? Bag. Well, let's pick a high-end fashion brand like Louis Vuitton, right? One Louis Vuitton bag may cost maybe $2,000. Yes, I don't know how a bag, a small bag or a purse costs $2,000, right? Now, if we reverse engineer it, where did the bag production start from? Maybe from a farmer somewhere who does rare cattle or sheep, livestock. And he harvests the skin of the animal, and then maybe somebody else picks the skin, dries it, or was it what we call tanning or a tanner? Those who work on leathers, right? On the leathers, so the tanner will work on it, and then he will probably sell it to maybe another processor in the value chain, who eventually it will end up in maybe a production facility in maybe China or India for Louis Vuitton. And they will do their magic on it, and then that maybe the farmer sold his product for say $10. And then it went through all that chain. So the person who added a little bit of value to it, the tanner maybe sells it to the next person in the value chain for maybe $50. Right. Then once it gets into the production facility of Louis Vuitton, maybe they get it for maybe $200. Let's say, I'm just making numbers up. By the time Louis Vuitton adds their magic to the bag and takes it to their retail shop, which by the way, you won't find Louis Vuitton bags any outlet except their own branded retail outlets. When they take it to their outlet, they sell it for $2,500. So you realize that the value is at the other end, the outer end of the value chain, not at the beginning. So what we Africans have been doing is that we are selling things at the low end of the value chain.
Yes.
And that is what IMF supports.
In fact, the trade laws are made that sometimes you can't even produce your own. And if anybody stands up and say, let's add value to your thing, they will take him out.
Wow.
I read a document where Kwame Nkrumah, the moment Kwame Nkrumah was taken out, the next day, World Bank was here trying to give us loans and trying to sign new contracts for our raw materials. This is what people do. Now, majority of our people don't understand this. Okay, so I'm trying to make a point that the moment you understand it from the superficial position, then you are weakened. You're weakened because you lack the fundamental understanding of what is happening.
Yes.
And so you said, oh, these people are very, these are very well developed, well organized. They have everything is in the system is working. They're infamous. The system is working somewhere 24 hours. Lack of understanding of these things, these structures, will make you not want to stay here. Because when you start a business, you're going to go through a lot of problems, challenges. If my visa is there and I meet trouble, let's face it.
It's a path of least resistance. I'll So let me ask this question then.
Yes.
Let's say we've dealt with the young person who has just finished school. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have no money. Now, let's say my parents, right? Let's use me as a guinea pig. So I also finished school just recently, but I was lucky to live or have parents who were very entrepreneurial. Maybe like your father, right? He was a cocoa farmer. He did this, he did that. Very, very entrepreneurial. Maybe I was even lucky to eavesdrop on some.
Grandfather.
Okay, right, your grandfather. Okay, so to eavesdrop on some of their conversation about business and things. So yes, I'm not 100% there when it comes to mindset, but I have some knowledge in business.
Yes.
More importantly, maybe I may even have a little bit of startup cushion, right? Because my father or my parents understand business. So if I'm that type of person, what are some of the challenges I'm likely to face?
You're very lucky. You have parents who have money, who may have done business. You come with a lot. So the challenges you face would be being able to identify the kind of business you want to do. So for me, two things that are left is or three, maybe you have to innovate something.
Okay.
Work on something, work on a product that you can take to the market or start to sell something.
Okay.
That's the way you have to build a business. Provide solution to something that exists. And if you look at the infrastructure that we have, the market that we have, the easiest way, if you don't have much going on for you, will be to start to sell something for a while, maybe a year or two. Out of that, you will start to see clearly. But both of us will be looking for contract, and for me, that wastes your time.
Okay.
It wastes your time. Your friend is in big political position. He will be giving you a lot of promises.
Yes.
5 years is not come, and you're saying that your business, and you're going to buy contract documents, security, and all those. So I say, you focus on the area that you want to build your business, and then master that area. If you can get that focus, because most people cannot focus. People cannot focus. They will start business. They will become lecturers. They want to teach or some of them will be pastors alongside. So many things on the table at the same time, and none is worked. I think focus on one to say, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to build this kind of business. So I focus on this. I take this to a certain level of success before if I want to, add something. So I would say focus on one industry.
That's
focus on one thing that you want to do. And because you see, you will not give up if you have some kind of ambition. You have some kind of vision. You have goals that you have set for yourself. It's difficult for you to just give up.
It's true.
Yes. So you set something for yourself. I want to do this. At the point, I had to close a lot of businesses, cancel some areas, and say that this is the area that I want to focus on, channel and have my energy there. I stopped saying I'm not going this side. I'm not going this side. I'm not dealing with these people. I want to focus and build from here. And when you hit that place for a while, it will start to make sense. It will start to process. But when most people just looking at everything, they are doing this, they are doing this, they are doing this, and you have not succeeded in one area, it becomes difficult for you to succeed.
It's true.
So somebody from that background, that's what I would say. It's one thing that you think there's so much need for. That connects with you. It must connect with you. I can see you do some business. I may appreciate it, but not so much. I may not so much cut for it. So I would want to focus on the one that I think there is need for it. I'm cut for it, and I'm learning it and pushing there. For that, it will work.
Yes, awesome. So since you've been in business for a while, in my view, talking to many entrepreneurs, even myself included, my first entrepreneurial venture did not work out.
Yes.
I think even my second one did not work out. Probably the third, fourth things that started showing signs of budding. So my question to you, Bikaba, in your experience, at what point in your entrepreneurial journey would you say, look, this thing is not working, let me pack it somewhere, and probably do something else? Or this thing is not working, but let me have the patience and the resilience to go through the bends, the curves, the blood, sweat, and tears. Let me wait it out. At what point do you make that kind of decision to know that, look, this thing is a goner. It's not going to work? Because you don't want to be the one who, because of lack of patience, you lose something that probably would have done so well if you had just stuck it out.
Okay.
You also don't want to be the one who is left with a dead chicken in your hand. Right? And all you're doing, you are just praying that the chicken will resurrect one day. And after 4 days, you start smelling, a stench of the dead chicken. You don't want that. So how do you handle such?
I think that failing several times when you start is part of the journey anyway. So if you had 4, you're very lucky. Some people have 10, they're still going. So it's part of it. It's a school on its own. You fail.
It is.
If anybody tells you that you will not lose money, you will not be cheated, you will not be tricked, you will not, then I don't know. Maybe they are very, very good people. But one way or the other, something will happen that will break everything. Yes. And so I would say that at a point, look at the control you have over the business that you're doing. It's a business that you don't have control of the cash that is coming in and the cash that is going. And you even have people working with you, and most of them are not really focused on the business. Because a lot of the time, the business is not doing well because of certain things. The area of the business, the cash flow particularly. Right? You work and you're not paid. You go to do contract, especially contractors. They call it business. I say that it's not for most people. Why? You go to beg somebody to give you contracts. And then they tell you to go and borrow money to go and do it. And then after you have done it, they take 4 months to pay you, 5 months, 1 year. That's not a business.
That's too bad.
That is not something that you have control over the flow of cash.
Yes.
And once you don't have flow of cash over that business, I say that you can cut it. Okay. Go to a place where you have control.
So every day there's some cash flow activity.
That's right. My decisions and my skill set decides my growth.
Okay.
Not somebody sitting somewhere who decides I won't sign the check. And then you have nothing. You have to go and lobby. That's not a business. You kill yourself. So you have to have direct contact with the market. People who need your product come to you.
I like that.
And any business like that, you succeed. And so when you don't have these things, I would say that, and you even have done it for 10 years, cut it.
Cut it.
Yes, cut it. Because it's painful. You get up in the morning, you feel pain. You see like you're helpless. You see, the thing about entrepreneurship is that you want control, you want freedom.
Yes.
You want the ability to grow according to your growth.
And your input.
The better you become, the better the business becomes. You can see direct link with that. But you're becoming better, but the business is not becoming better. It means that the business is not within your control. Somebody else is controlling the business. So it's not your business. So you must focus on businesses where a lot of the factors are within your reach, where your growth is reflected in the growth of the business. If you're not in that kind of business, you're just looking for money. A lot of people are just looking for money. They call it business, but they're just looking for another source of income.
Yes.
It's different from building a business. When you are building a business, you are turning an idea. You're building structures around an idea and serving an economic need.
Yes.
And therefore you are looking at building people. Building system, building team.
Yes.
So I think really about you.
Yeah, I think if I remember, you made mention of that. I can't remember which book was that, but I think you make particular mention of that, and I think that resonated with me as well. That trying to have multiple streams of income, which is a good thing, it's not the same as having a business. No. And I think that point needs to be emphasized, because especially most people who fall into that trap are people who are in America, we call them, they are moonlighting. So they are working in their 9-to-5 job. And they are having some side things there to try and get something coming in. That is basically having multiple streams of income.
That's right. That's right.
But by business is a whole different animal.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I think
so
that's what you're saying.
You're turning an idea, and you start to employ people.
Okay.
You start to build structures. If you're not paying salary, technically, what kind of business is that? You know, and the more numbers, you look at the people look at Dangote, for instance. He probably employs over 25, 30,000 people, and that's why he's a billionaire.
Yes.
You know, so you say that my business, I do it alone. That's not really a business. You just have a source of income. It's okay. You're doing it for the money. Yes. You know, but if you want a business, then you are trying to learn how to get more people to work with you, and create more value. You know, and that then becomes a business. And most people don't transition to that, especially those of us who went to school, professionals, people. I'm a consultant. I do it all by myself. I'm an accountant. I do it, you know, alone. I prepare the books. But if you have an accounting firm that has 100 people working with you, that's a business.
That's a business.
You know, because you're paying salary. And the moment you start to pay salary, your understanding of business is entirely different.
Yes.
From if you have never paid salary. You know,
it is.
And when you start to employ people who can challenge you and challenge your thought and contribute. Because really, it's not like you have to build it so that everything depends on you. You get people who will be proud to work with you and get maybe some kind of livelihood from that as well. And for me, business entrepreneurship is creating that kind of value.
It's true. It's true. Basically, it's creating the systems and then the environment and the motivation to make sure that the objective of the business is being forwarded. Yeah, you know, I like that. Now, let's talk about this quickly. You know, you talked about money is in the trenches.
Yes.
You know, you have to get to a place whereby your product or your service is in direct contact with the potential clients or customers.
Yes.
When you are starting out in business, and let's say you don't have any track record, you just young guy, young lady starting, you don't have no track record, nobody knows you from Adam, you just are enthusiastic, you are passionate, you come up with this product or this service that you are very passionate about that is going to work. At that point that you don't have any track record, what is the key to getting your first set of clients or clientele? Or what is the key to getting your customer base? Because that is very, very important. Because if it takes too long, your confidence can be hit.
Okay.
So what are some of the things that they can do to make sure that they get their first client?
You see, for people who have worked before, who have money, they are, you know, when they want to start a business, they want to look at the business plan. You know, they write it, they get the finances, you know, the financials rightly set. You know, and sometimes they even go and look for funding to start the business. Now, for hustlers like myself, there's nothing. So your best way to start something is to test the idea from the letter.
Okay.
But for me, once the idea comes, just test it anyhow. Let's say I want to open a supermarket, but I don't have that kind of money. So let me open it on the table for 20 cities. So I will start to sell water on the table. Because once the idea comes, what gives the idea traction is when you have set it in motion. You know?
I like that.
So you have to overcome inertia.
Yes. This momentum.
Motion. That's a momentum.
Momentum. The big
that, then you know it will just fizzle out. So just as little, because the wisdom actually increases when you have started.
The wisdom is in the doing.
Yes, it's in the doing. So for most of us, I don't have anything doing anyway, and I'm thinking of starting multiple restaurants. But I can start with just wache. Small wache. I talk to a Kia. Say, can you prepare some wache? We put it on the table here and see. 20 cities.
Right.
Don't just wait because that point, when you fail, it's not much.
Yes.
But when you come to me to say, oh, give me 20,000 to start my business, I said that you will lose that money. And obviously you will lose
money. You will lose it.
Yes.
Unless you've done it before.
That's right. You are testing the idea. So I would rather test the idea if I've never done it before from a very low cost level. You know, very easy to lose 20 cities, but it's very tough for me to lose 20,000. And most people who have never worked, even the money that you have worked for in business, you can easily lose it. How much more the one that you got for free?
It's true.
You know,
there's something about free money. There's something about free money. And how fast it can disappear on you.
It can go quick. You buy, you see, you go and get an office, paint there, put a computer there, you know, put some secretary there. You say you have started business and you have no payment, no client has coming. That's no business. You just decorated an office. You know, start from your room.
Yeah.
Start to sell on your head.
Do you know one of I would say one of my mentors that I follow very keenly. Currently he's a billionaire, right? In US dollar terms, in real estate, sales, and all those kind of things. One profound thing that he said recently at a webinar that I attended, he said, if he's starting any business, even to today that he has all the wealth or the money that he says, he normally doesn't put any money in any marketing or advertising.
That's right.
Until he makes money out of the business first.
That's right.
He said he's a big believer in marketing. He said he doesn't care spending 50% of all income into marketing, advertising, and promotion. That's him. He's a very, very loud kind of character. But he said if he's starting something, he will never put any money into that. Any money from maybe external source, maybe you've gotten it from an uncle or an aunt, or he said no. Let the business
bring something.
And then say, I don't care putting all the 100% of what he brought into marketing. Then I do have something going.
Because now the model is working. So your whole idea is to test it.
Yeah.
And the best business plan is the testing.
Testing.
You hit the ground. If it doesn't work, you just get up, you cry small, you go. Nobody will kill you, But if you put 20,000 there, it doesn't work, Master. You'll be hot. And so most people are trying to think of starting a business from a very high level. And they have never done it. Leave that one for those who have done it.
Yes.
Look that, they are skilled. But we are going to take a lot of trash from you.
Yeah.
The quality of your decision now is going to be tested. We are going to put it on you. You're going to see how you handle the money, how you handle the problem, when the customer is fighting back. Or when the employee that you trust so much tells you that I'm going to my uncle's funeral, I'm not coming again. Or when you find out that they're stealing from you. Can you survive that?
Can you survive, theft?
So those things, you have not tested them. So if we give you the 100,000, you will lose it.
You will lose it.
You will lose it.
All right, let me finish your train of thought.
There's a difference between businesses that are built on the technology, internet, and businesses, what you call traditional businesses, like what they call brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar, yes.
There's a huge difference.
Yes.
A lot of us are copying our examples from people who have built technology businesines.
Yes.
And that's a whole different part.
That's a whole different game.
A lot of the billionaires are in that category. The first time.
Yes.
You see that they are either in the finance or IT kind of business.
Yes.
Because leverage is very high.
It's very high because of the technology, the internet. Yeah.
That's right. But most of us will just not have that.
Yes. I'm into that. I'm into tech stuff. Okay. So I kind of understand.
So tech people are different from those of us who are trying to build houses or build shops.
Yes.
So you have to also understand the business you are in. That is key. Because most people they copy.
Even in the tech world, I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's going to lead into my last question. I have an interesting last question, so it's just going to lead into it. I think even in the tech space, it's the same because basically you have to come up with some kind of a minimum viable product, and that term was coined by I think this gentleman. How can I forget his name? He was one of the co-founders, I think, of LinkedIn and PayPal as well. I think Peter Thiel, where he coined that kind of term. A lean startup. Actually, he wrote the book Lean Startup. So you have to come up with a minimum viable product. That's exactly what you are saying when it comes to brick and mortar business. You start somewhere small, put it on sell watch on somebody's table. It's a minimum viable product.
Okay.
And then after you've done the minimum viable product, you just go out and test it. Sending out sometimes so in the tech world normally they will do some kind of a free tier pricing to get people in there and that kind of thing so that people will test, and then within the free tier pricing then they will have they would tease you with enhanced features that you pay something. And if you really want it, then there's a higher level of plan that you move on to. So to me it's the same thing. That brings me to my next question. Why is it that most people, from my experience, most people, myself included, when I started, why do we underestimate the work involved in building a business like that?
Because most people think a business is like having a job.
Huh.
Yes, most people. As a matter of fact, your friend will ask you, "Is your business making the same thing as your salary?"
Okay.
In your mind, they think that business is just no. When you start a business, everything is on you.
Yeah.
Every challenge, every problem, you must be built for it. Must be tough. And the resilience actually is a force within that can connect with your vision. That's why those people who have connected it never give up.
Yes.
It has to be a higher reason why you are
money, though. A higher reason more than money. Else you will give up.
Yes, that's right. So, and that must connect with that which you feel your life is about. And those who go into business with this sense never give up. They can lose a business, but they'll start another one. They can lose it, but they will fight, because it's like that thing will virtually imprison you. You become a slave to that, until it comes out. It's like a woman with some a baby in the stomach. No matter what, it must come out, and that is it. So you cannot say that your job is just the same as the business, and you're going to learn about money, about a certain product, about the market. You have to learn how to sell. You have to be very comfortable with risk, what they call risk. You are going to fail a lot of the times. And some people will say that, man, God will fight for me, no devil, all those will come out. No, you will fail, you will fall. You must know that your ability to think clearly is important. And you must have data, behind the decisions that you're making.
That is excellent.
And sometimes you also have to go by your instinct. But the decisions must be made in a certain frame. So my policy is, okay, I don't do this kind of work if somebody is asking for money. That is a policy. So even no matter what, that guides you. It's a policy that you have made. So even
I just said it so nicely. Let me say it the way it has to be said. He doesn't do those kind of business when somebody says put something on the table first. Basically bribery. Right? So he's defined his value system.
That's right.
His value system is I don't touch bribe businesses.
Yes, I'm not coming.
And
because I found out that anytime that you do those things, the people don't even care about the job. So you will work. When it comes to payment, they won't show up. And you also shortchange your ability to go through the processes to become a better person. Because somebody has to hold your hand all the time. So anytime that person is not there, you have no business.
It's true.
You have to go to primary one and learn again.
It's true.
So once you can define those things, you know that you're going to go through the heat.
Yes.
And you don't have to. You have to accept that business, you're going to go through a lot of problems.
It is.
Yeah.
And one of the things I notice is, look, business or in entrepreneurship, it's going to be one gentleman I heard, and this is not even Africans. These are Americans that typically I quote from, because I've had a lot of reference points in the States than probably most places because I lived there for a while. So this is an American saying that it takes whatever you think is going to cost you in terms of energy, in terms of input, multiply it by 4 times.
You see?
And this is an American.
Yes.
Where the systems work.
Yeah, they say that to me. I don't know.
They said that.
I saw Floyd. They put on his neck. I don't know what kind of system will work in that way.
4 times the energy. Yes. So just by juxtaposing to our African context, I believe you have to be prepared to probably do twice that.
Okay. You know the funniest thing. The funniest thing is that I think starting is easier here.
Wow, that's eye-opening. Give me a little bit light on that.
I think it's more of the growth.
Okay.
That may be a bit tough.
Okay.
Because the regulations. Okay, for instance, if I want to open just a kiosk, I just open. But I'm sure that in New York, for instance,
you can't do that.
Just put your
kiosk. No, never.
That's a bit easier.
Okay.
I can operate without even going to the government. Later, I can go to the government.
Yes, later when you are.
That's right. So our system allows this easily.
Then that is an advantage.
Yes, as a matter of fact. And you can easily start anything and test your idea here. Where it becomes a bit challenge Challenging is where you are looking at the tax laws to favor you, the investors to give you money, those things. You take your company to the stock market, those things that grow their business, high leverage, because if your business is working, some venture capitals will come in,
They will throw money at you.
That's right. And they pick it to a certain level. You say that you are floating shares. You become a billionaire in no time. Yes. I think that side is where we have a different part. Okay. But in terms of starting, I think is especially
it's easier.
Yes, I think it's especially not so much with the highly regulated businesses.
Okay.
A highly regulated business where the government is like starting maybe a bank or finance company.
Pharmaceutical company, yes.
Yes, those things. But a lot of our businesses where people use daily, you can just go to a domain market and get the table and start something. The thing is that we don't think those things are important. That's why a lot of our graduates looking for jobs.
It's true.
They don't think that they can go to domain and sell watermelon or coffee.
It's true.
As a starting point.
Or, this past week or so, I think my wife just bought some clothing from somebody on, I think, either Facebook or Instagram. And it was so funny. I see people sell things like that all the time. But the story was funny. So when she, eventually the items were, she ordered, and they had to be talking back and forth, to make sure that she had the right size and everything. So there was one of the items that the seller didn't have. And she just blurted out that, this item, I don't have it. So I will go to town and buy it and bring it to you.
That's right.
So actually,
yes. Did you not take it?
I said, wow, this is a good business model. You say that there's no job. Go to the Makola market. Go to the Inna where the college people cannot go, right? Go there, step in the mud, go there, and then go and cut a deal with the ladies. Now look, when I bring a deal to you, you give it to me at this price, or you give me a commission on it, and I will go and sell it online for you. And then she has a business. My wife spent, I think, I don't know, close to 1,000 cedis on that day. You get a point.
And someone will tell you that they need money to start a business, no?
And I think her margin on that will probably be more than 50%. Who cares?
Right. Yes, exactly. Is that not what lawyers do?
Yes.
They have to go and represent you. That's what it is. Okay. So I think that is the proper understanding of the structure of our economy.
Yeah.
And I say that there are a lot of advantages that people don't see.
So many advantages.
But we are trying to say that in England it's that this way. We are not England.
We are not.
In Canada is that we are not Canada.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a different business. It's a different part. We have a lot of things to improve, but everywhere we have things to improve. So I'm saying, because if you don't think like this, because everybody would try to shoot the hose, show you the hose, why you're wasting your time.
It's not possible, yeah.
That's right. Why you're wasting your time, why it is done somewhere better. Some people will even, especially the bloggers, will come and tell you all these things, you don't, how much do you make? How much? 1,000 cedis a month is nothing. When you are here, you will make 2,000. They for $2,000, $5,000. They forget to tell you
the cost of living. It's not the same. Cost of living is not the same.
They don't tell you how much they owe.
Yes, the credit cards and things.
So if you measure it, there's some people no, but man, I say that in Ghana, if you're looking for money, it's in business.
Yes.
It's in what they call informal. What they call it, I don't think it's informal.
I think a great business idea, especially for young people and things, or people who are starting. For me, as you were talking, I'm still learning the system, basically. And every day I'm just learning a lot. But one of the things that I'm seeing is that if a young person and I targeted the informal sector to help them sell, that's all I do. Help them sell, because this informal sector, they don't understand technology, they don't understand. Their own is I go open my shop and I wait for people to come. It's more of what do you call it, inbound marketing or inbound sales. Let me put it that way. But young people identify these informal sectors. Somebody selling paint, somebody selling this.
repackage the process of repackaging.
Exactly. That's why we're talking about the value chain, the end of the value chain. You'll be at the very tail end of the value chain, then you become a Louis Vuitton.
You see, even the informal term that you use, we have been using those terms on us. But Benny Madoff, was he not working in such a structured?
He was
not informal.
he was working on Wall Street and busily taking people's money.
So the definition, it's like I'm trying to look for a perfect example. The definitions that we give to a lot of things that we have value in
denigrates us, yes.
And therefore we don't see value
in that.
You see, because the guy who was going to come and to do engineering, you are saying that informal. That automatically puts him off.
No, he was a former suit and tie.
Yes. So if you want them to see the opportunities there, then change the name. It's like some of the courses that they have changed names in the universities. It's the same course, but they just add technology, and they make you pay $20,000 for it. It's just the same course, but they just add the technology. So I think that the names that we give to some of the things that we have, traditional, informal, cultural, tribal, those things. Because the same. I've never heard some English people say that this is our tribal food.
No way.
When it comes to Africa, they use those terms.
Yes.
They immigrate. They section us. They make us minority. Is like the term minority? I never heard this until I went to America. That you can call a whole human being minority. Wow.
Somebody said he never knew he was black until he got outside of Africa.
You see?
And he got to know that he was black.
That's right. So until you're able to switch some of these terms, you will not see the opportunities.
Awesome.
Blessings that you see.
It is.
And most of our businesses, that's how we started actually. We put the things down and we went to the market. That is the market we have.
The market, yeah.
That's what we have. It's like going to school and they tell you don't speak vernacular. Is it crazy? The boy grows up, he thinks that whatever he has is nothing. There's no treasure.
Yeah.
That's vernacular. So he grows up thinking that anything that he has is inferior.
It's inferior. It's true.
Meanwhile, that is where the strength is. That's where the opportunity is.
Yes.
I know somebody who says Coco. She has Tozafi.
Okay.
She has 10 spots. Tozafi.
Wow.
The owner sits at home. She prepares them and sells them. Can you imagine how much money?
She'll make more than the office person.
Kebab, chichinga.
Yes.
10 spots every evening.
Amazing. Look at the cash flow. We're talking about cash flow.
That's right.
Indomie. That's cash flow business. Indomie. Yes.
Indomie.
10 spots of Indomie.
You are saying that you are looking for 1,000 and you are going there and they're throwing stones at you.
Oh man, that's denigrating.
My friend who sells coconut. And today I was talking to him. He said, Master, when you cash, I said, Master, cash in the
That means the person is saying there's cash. He's loaded. There's cash.
And this guy sells coconut.
He has cash.
Yes, and he said that he has another farm that is producing citrus or something.
Wow.
And he's thinking of starting coconut farm. SS graduate. Wow. I gave him a copy of Streamline. He said, now that I've read it, I'm even getting more ideas. I said, don't travel.
Don't travel anywhere.
Do this and do it well. Now, the funniest thing is that if he starts to put some nice container there, city authorities will come and
that's what you said. Starting is easy.
Yes. They say, come, you don't pay this, you don't pay this. But now that he's selling it on the table, nobody will come. So if I were him, I would sell it like that,
And spread.
And multiply and grow from that level. Because the watcher woman is not being hustled.
No.
But go to the restaurant. All those people will come.
Hustled.
Our system is designed to protect the interests of the top. So anytime that you want to formalize, so-called in quote,
yes, you get penalized.
You are hit back.
Yes. And that is what needs to be looked at.
That's right. So if you want to grow, I will not go until I'm very muzzled. I will not worry about those
things.
But the moment you look like them, they say, this guy is getting money. So now they want to him. So leave them, sell it on the table, increase the revenue. Don't worry about repackaging. It's not. I read a story. This was about 15 years ago. A bank in England and in India, wealthy bank. They refurbished their banking halls, and they saw that the people stopped coming. Then they had to use billions to change the setting to the old setting that the people understood.
Wow.
Because the people that they were serving were comfortable with that kind of design. You see? So even though it was a big bank, they didn't have to, rejuvenate and redesign and because of the market that they were serving.
Yes.
A lot of the times, focus on serving more people, make more revenue.
Yes.
At that, because you have to go into the people's mind.
Yes.
The moment you start to say, I'm packaging, I'm doing this, that's where the book people will come in. Before you see it, you have lost your business.
You've lost your business.
That's what commercial banking.
And that's terrible. Honestly, that's a very terrible thing. I think the authorities need to really set up. If they're saying they want businesses to grow, you have to make it easier. Ghana is the only place that I know that utility rates for businesses are higher than domestic rates.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and utility rates for electricity if it's designated as a commercial entity, the utility rates are higher.
Yes. But I'm saying, you said Ghana is the only place. I didn't know it's only Ghana.
The only place I know. Let me put a disclaimer. The only place I know, travel a little bit here and there, at least I know a little bit around town. Traveled a few places in Europe, in the States, in some African countries as well. For me, that's the only country I know that utility rates for businesses that are supposed to create jobs that are supposed to are higher than domestic.
Okay.
And that's a business killer. That's a business killer. I think we can go on and on and on.
Say it again.
Yeah, we have to go somewhere, and give us your last thoughts. In some like what are your final thoughts? What final?
Okay, so
ideas?
All right. So you have to understand, for you to be a very resilient person, you must understand yourself as an African. Your freedom is your identity.
Yes.
The more you understand the culture, and the more you don't raise other people above you, and the more you can see the beauty in your culture and how God made you, the better you can be very comfortable with heat that comes out of you building anything.
Right.
Business, and understand the environment and understand that the colonial structures are still there. So they fight back at wealth creation. Those structures fight back at you. So don't be shocked when you make and you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You have to be built for it. Wealth is for the courageous, they say. Wealth is not for the weak, it's not for the feeble. It's for those who are ready to fight. And so take risk, be driven by your mission or by your vision, and be tough-minded. You want to win in this life, it's not for the weak.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. It's been an inspiring, fiery session. I really like it. It's been an eye opener. Especially some of the things that you said about businesses, which and that tells you that I still learn every day. That businesses, starting it is easier here than possibly anywhere else you can start a business, and I think that is a big advantage. So if I was a young person, I will find a way to start something if business is my thing. But there are some people that I noticed that no matter, you can pick them, throw them up, and land them on the ground 1 billion times, business will never come out of them. We understand, it's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. Business is hard.
Yeah.
But it's very, very difficult, very hard, but it's very rewarding also.
That's right.
That doesn't negate the fact that there are people who are going to be professors. There are people who are going to be doctors. We need doctors. Not every doctor can be a business person.
That's right.
There are people who are going to be teachers, who are going to dedicate their lives to societal service. We don't take that away from you. But for those who are cut out for business, and those who are intrigued by even the concept of business, or those who want some level of freedom in their life, entrepreneurship is the key. And thank you so much, Comrade, for your awesome insights. Awesome insights. We are blessed to have you. Yes, and have a good evening.
Yes, sir.